You finally got it. The job, the body, the relationship, the number in your account. And then nothing, or worse than nothing, a quiet voice asking, is this it? That feeling has a name, but most people never hear it. So they assume something is wrong with them. They worked hard, they got what they wanted, and it felt like almost nothing. So they conclude they wanted the wrong thing, or they're broken, or they need to want more. They set a bigger goal, they chase harder, and the cycle begins again. Nothing is wrong with you. This is the brain doing exactly what it evolved to do. The system was never built for arrival. Here's what's actually happening inside your skull. The human brain is a prediction machine. Before you reach any goal, the promotion, the number on the scale, the relationship status, your brain runs a simulation. It imagines the future version of you standing there, holding that thing, and it generates a feeling, a preview, a forecast. The problem is that forecast is almost always wrong. Psychologists call this affective forecasting, and decades of research show that humans are systematically reliably bad at it. We overestimate how good future events will make us feel, and we overestimate how long that feeling will last. Not occasionally, but consistently across cultures, income levels, and almost every life domain studied. You thought getting there would feel like relief, like clarity, like finally. Instead, it felt muted or hollow or fine, just fine, which somehow felt worse than nothing. This is hedonic adaptation. The brain is not designed to sustain elevated emotional states. It is designed to return to baseline always. Whatever your new reality is, the apartment, the achievement, the recognition, your nervous system acclimates to it within weeks, sometimes days. The extraordinary becomes ordinary. That's not a flaw, that's efficiency. A brain constantly overwhelmed by its own good fortune would be useless, so the system resets. But there's a second mechanism, and this one cuts deeper. Dopamine, the chemical most people associate with pleasure, is not actually released at the moment of reward. It's released in anticipation of reward, during the chase, during progress, and during the space between wanting and having. When you're working towards something, dopamine is flowing. It sharpens focus, creates momentum, and manufactures meaning out of effort. The pursuit itself is the neurological reward. And the moment you arrive, the moment the gap closes, the signal drops. Not because you failed, but because you succeeded. The system has no more use for the drive it gave you. This is why the finish line so often feels like a floor rather than a ceiling. So, what do you do with this? You could conclude that goals are useless, that wanting things is a trap, and contentment is the answer. Some traditions say exactly that. But that's not what neuroscience suggests, and it's probably not what your life experience confirms either. A life without direction doesn't feel peaceful. It feels adrift. The reframe isn't to stop setting goals. It's to understand what a goal is actually for. An outcome goal, lose 20 pounds, make 6 figures, get the promotion, is a compass bearing. It tells you which direction to walk, but it was never meant to be the destination. The mistake is treating it like a place you'll one day inhabit, a state that once reached will sustain you. It won't. It was never going to. What sustains people, and this is consistent across psychological research on well-being, flow, and long-term motivation, is not achievement. It's engagement. Specifically, it is the experience of getting better at something that matters, in a context that connects you to others or to something beyond yourself. Process goals do something outcome goals cannot. They keep the gap open. They give dopamine somewhere to go. Instead of I want to run a marathon, the goal becomes I want to become someone who trains seriously. Instead of I want to be financially free, it becomes I want to build a relationship with money that I'm proud of. The destination shifts from a fixed point to a direction, and directions don't run out. This is not a semantic trick. The structure of the goal changes what your brain does with it. A process goal is never fully achieved, which means the motivational signal never fully collapses. You don't cross a finish line and feel the drop. You just keep moving, and moving feels like the point. There's a related concept worth sitting with: identity-based goals. Not I want to write a book, but I'm a writer. Not I want to be fit, but I'm someone who trains. When the goal is woven into who you are rather than what you have, the reward structure changes entirely. You're not waiting for an outcome to validate the effort. The effort is the expression of something already true about you, or something you're deciding is true. The arrival fallacy will keep catching you. Even knowing this, there will be moments where you achieve something and feel the floor. The brain doesn't update its forecasting model easily. You'll simulate the future with the same optimism, feel the same muted landing, and wonder again if something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. You're just encountering the gap between what the brain promises and what reality delivers, a gap that every ambitious person lives inside, mostly unnamed and mostly alone. The question isn't how to finally feel satisfied when you arrive. The question is whether you can fall in love with being in motion. Not because arrival is impossible, but because you are most alive in the space between.